Before we can seriously talk about changing state using the setState method, we're going to need to have an understanding of events in React and handling events. Event handling is essentially allowing the user to interact with your web page and do something specific when a certain event like a click or a hover happens. And handling events in React is actually quite simple. You might be familiar with regular HTML's ability to add something like onClick equals, and then you execute a function like my function. React is very similar to this with just a few small changes. The first thing is that all of our event handlers are going to be the JavaScript version, which has a camel-cased convention. On click, we'll have a capital C. On mouse over, we'll have a capital M and a capital O, and so forth. And the reason it does this is because it uses the same convention that regular JavaScript does if you were to add these events to elements on the page. So let's make it so our button can do something when a click of the button happens using onClick. And then the only other major change we're going to do is that instead of passing an executed function as a string, we're going to pass a function directly into a set of curly braces. Now, I don't have another function pre-written, so I could just do an anonymous function right here. And maybe console log something. We can shorten this up quite a bit by using ES6's arrow function syntax. Or, as always, you could write a separate function somewhere and put the reference to the name of that function right here. Any of those should work just fine. I'm going to save this and click the button. And you'll see that we get a console log of I was clicked. If we open the console, we will see that more obviously. As a quick reference, I want you to take a look at the following React documentation. This is a full list of the supported events in React. The reason I want you to look at this is because I want you to pause this lesson and add the functionality so that when the mouse hovers over the image, another thing gets console logged. So pause the lesson here. Feel free to go to that URL and see if you can find the event that we'll need to use so that when we move our mouse over the image, it will execute a function, and then go ahead and add that to your image element. Okay, so I think there might be a couple different mouse events that we could use. But the one that I'm going to use is the on mouse over. And when that happens, we will run the following function. And we will just console log hovered. Save this. And I'll open the console and try hovering over Bill Murray. Look at that. Every time our mouse goes over the image, it runs our function. So handling events is going to be really helpful. Obviously, console logging stuff is not all that exciting, but we're going to see how events mixed with the changing of state will allow our application to start becoming really robust and actually really awesome. Feel free to add a few elements here. See if you can do some of the other events that are found at this URL. And then we'll talk about setting state in the next lesson.